It's a Review Journal Spotlight on the NFL, and we're here at the Orleans Sportsbook with handicapper Kelly Stewart at Kelly in Vegas, Boyd Gaming Sportsbook Director Bob Scucci. We each have 3 plays in the NFL and our best bet. Kelly, ladies first, who are your top 2 plays in the NFL this week?
You know, I'm going to go back to my buddy Blake Bortles. I know we went round and round over the years, but I was really impressed with what they did against the Texans, and I think we're going to see more of the same. Why? Because if you can limit Blake's passes, you can limit his mistakes. Run the ball with Leonard Fournette, good front 7, keep ground and pound. I think that's how they beat the Titans, so I got to go with the Jags here. Also, another homer play by Kelly in Vegas today. I'm taking Denver +2. Can't wait to hear all about it because the line is so interesting to me here. You have the Broncos, who played pretty well on Monday night, minus the fourth quarter versus the Chargers. And you have a Dallas team, whether Zeke plays or not, I don't care. I don't think it matters. They have yet to see a defense like this Denver Broncos defense. Those 4 interceptions you threw last year, Dak, I'm expecting at least 2 against this Broncos D.
I like it. I like Denver at home. It's tough to have a visiting team come into Denver and lay points, so I like the plays. And the Jaguars was one of the teams that I said at the beginning of the year we're going to make some huge improvements over last year, so I like the plays.
Who are your 2 plays, Bob?
Well, the first one I'm going to go with the Saints. If you can get the +7 against the Patriots. I know these teams only play once every 4 years, but Drew Brees has a little bit of a chip on his shoulder when he's going up against Tom Brady. He's always trying to make, that competitiveness show everybody that he's every bit as good of a quarterback as Tom Brady. So they always play historically real tight games. So I think getting 7 points at home is quite a bit for the Saints. So I'm going to go with them against the Patriots.
Are you contractually obligated to say that since we're at the Orleans?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I got to stick with Orleans all the time.
There you go. Who's your second play?
Well, the second one is the Detroit Lions +3.5 against the Giants. The Giants' offense has just been anemic, and I think after a couple of years of the Ben McAdoo offense, they really should have gotten it by now. They were supposed to have made all these strides to shore up their offensive line to protect Eli Manning, but they just haven't done it. The Detroit Lions have shown some improvements, at least in that first game, that big surprise against the Cardinals. Now you're going to give them 3.5 points against a Giant team that really doesn't play that well at home. Considering all the rest of the home field advantages around the league, the Giants aren't really that strong at home. So I think 3.5 points is a lot, especially if Odell Beckham doesn't play in this one.
Yeah, exactly. They look lost without OBJ in the opener. And I'm going to go with the Falcons at home over Green Bay, laying 2.5. Rematch the NFC Championship where the Falcons won 44-21. I know the Packs' defense has improved, but not that much, Matt Ryan still looked good in week 1, although they barely won in Chicago, but the Super Bowl hangover is gone, and it's time to get the party started again in Atlanta. I'm also going with the Seahawks. You hate to lay double digits, 2 touchdowns in the NFL, but I went against the Niners last week, and they came through going against them because they look terrible again this year. In Seattle, going home off a loss, the home teams that lost their opener on the road heading home, 36-19-1 against the spread. And they're also 24-1 against the spread at home in September, 13-4 against the spread against the Niners. So laying the big number there. Let's go to our best bets. Kelly, who is your best bet in the NFL?
My best bet this week is the Dolphins. And everybody that has followed me for years knows how much I despise Jay Cutler. So this is really painful for me. But I like this Dolphins team. I like Cutler under Gacy. Also, you have to remember, this Dolphins team's been in LA for quite a while now because they were displaced due to Hurricane Irma. Where in the world should the Chargers be a 4.5-point favorite to anybody? I watched the game Monday night, and yes, they had a decent fourth quarter against the Broncos, but this line just immediately stuck out to me where I'm like, I got to look and see why. Couldn't find an explanation. They have no home field advantage. Not a big fan of Phyllis Rivers.
Yeah, especially that fourth quarter. If it wasn't for the turnovers, that game would have been a lot more lopsided than it actually was.
Absolutely. So let's go Dolphins.
I'm actually going to go against the former pick for my best bet, the Tennessee Titans against the Jaguars. As much as I thought the Jaguars would be improved this year, I thought the Tennessee Titans would actually still be the division winners, and I don't think they can afford to go down 2 games to Jacksonville this early on in the season. I think they made a little bit of a mistake against the Raiders, opening up that with that onside kick last week, and that kind of cost them a little bit in terms of momentum. But I think they right the ship this week, and I like Tennessee against Jacksonville Jaguars.
Well, we're going head-to-head. This is like the sharps versus squares, or more like a round in my case. but I'm going to go with the Jaguars. I'm a believer. They're getting 2.5 versus Tennessee. The same spread against the Raiders, so the odds makers giving the Jags some credit. I mean, that defense is finally coming together with all the first-round draft picks they've had. 10 sacks against the Texans. And Leonard Fournette's for real, as you mentioned, Kelly. They're going to pound the ball with him. You could always kind of Mike Mularkey maybe to crap out, rolling the dice with a thing like that he did. And the Jags, 5-1 straight up at home versus Tennessee last 6 when they didn't have this defense. And the Titans are 7-19-1 on the road against the spread, 1-10-1 against the AFC South, and 13-35-3 in their last 51 against the AFC South. That's our spotlight on the NFL.